I don't know what's quite going on here, but it seems like most of you think it's going to be a merry Moto Christmas because so many of you seem to love the Moto G series leaks that's on AndroidAuthority.com. They're getting more retweets and shares than anything else. Let's talk about why. Droid Shout picked up the renders and they potentially show off 4 G models. The Moto G7, G7 Plus, G7 Power, and finally the G7 Play. The G7 and G7 Plus would apparently come with a water drop notch, while the G7 Play and G7 Power would have a wider notch. It also appears that the Power and Play would feature vertically mounted dual rear camera sensors, while the Standard and Plus models would have a horizontal camera setup. Previous rumors suggested that the Moto G7 would pack a 6-inch Full HD Plus display with 64 gigabytes of internal storage. A dual 16 megapixel plus 5 megapixel camera setup is tipped for the rear, while it's also said to house a 3500 milliamp hour battery. You can expect the Plus variant to have a larger display, the Power variant to have a larger battery, and the Play variant to have slightly less power. You see, I thought this would get a little bit more traction, but it's still early. It may take off. There is an ad on Twitter that OnePlus put out of someone playing a game on the OnePlus 6T. Of course, it doesn't really look like the OnePlus 6T. Now look at this photo and then look at this photo. Which one is the actual OnePlus 6T? Now the OnePlus 6T does have a great display and really thin bezels, but if you were to look at a recent advertisement from OnePlus promoting the 6T, you might come home disappointed after the purchase because the OnePlus 6T in the ad has a much smaller bezel and nearly non-existent chin compared to the actual 6T. But OnePlus was called out on that by one of our colleagues over at Android Police, where he said, hey, OnePlus, the chin ain't that small. Now, good news for those of you who are big fans of the Pixel's camera app but don't have a Pixel, because friends from my old stomping grounds at XDA Developers have ported the app to phones that you might have. XDA Developers reports that developer Arnova AG2 has whipped up a Google camera port for the Honor Play, Huawei Mate 10, and the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, and yes, the version includes Google's cutting-edge night sight mode. Judging from the list of compatible phones, it looks like this latest port targets devices with the Kirin 970 chipset. XDA readers also reported that the feature works with the likes of the Honor View 10, but sadly not yet compatible with the Huawei P20 Pro. And this is really good news because now the geeks at XDA Developers might have a camera app that will inspire them to get outside. And finally, some potentially good news for all of us who care about battery juice. You see, the Huawei Mate 20 Pro delivered a great feature. It's called reverse wireless charging. It allows you to wirelessly charge other gadgets with the phone. Now it's claimed that the Samsung Galaxy S10 series could offer that same feature. Word of Samsung's flagship gaining this feature came via Gizmodo UK last week, citing a source at a, quote, major tech retailer. The outlet added that the functionality would be called Powersave, less of a mouthful than reverse wireless charging. Now, this leak was corroborated by Sam Mobile saying that the name would actually be Powershare, which is much better marketing and branding on Samsung's part. And if you remember a couple weeks ago, I talked about that if Samsung had some new, really pretty killer feature that would matter to the average viewer, that would be a big push for Samsung. And if they can explain and market this idea to the average viewer, I think this could have a massive impact. I mean, everyone's got multiple charging cables and multiple devices charging all at the same time. I mean, I have like 2 power bars at my desk to plug everything in. This could simplify that process and be a power hub around what is, for most people, their primary electronic device. Let me know what you think in the comments below or on Twitter. I still read all of them. I just don't comment all of them because I don't want my brain to hurt. But let me know what you think right down there. Have a great Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. The next show is going to be about phones coming out that have or will have 10 gigabytes of RAM. It's going to be a geek's dream. I'm looking forward to it. Watch it. It's coming up soon. You know when software starts to do things it's not supposed to do? Who solves those problems? It's the unsung heroes, our developer teams. In fact, it's called incident management. And our beloved sponsor today, OpsGenie, is just for them.
OpsGenie helps us minimize downtime, which is critical for our customer experience.
OpsGenie empowers devs and ops teams to plan for service disruptions and stay in control during incidents. It helps notify all the right people through a smart combination of scheduling and escalation paths that take into account things like time zones and holidays. It allows for deep flexibility in how and when and where alerts are deployed and supported by over 200 integrations. With OpsGenie, your next incident doesn't stand a chance. Go to opsgenie.com and sign up to get a free company account and add up to 5 team members. That's opsgenie.com. Never miss a critical alert again with OpsGenie.
Bye bye.